The Misen chef's knife raised over $1 million on Kickstarter, and Serious Eats called it the holy grail of knives. Let's see if it lives up to the hype.
Prudent Reviews.
Hi, I'm Andrew with Prudent Reviews, where we help you find the best products for your home. If you're new to this channel, subscribe for in-depth and unbiased reviews of cookware, kitchen knives, appliances, and more. I've been using the newest version of the Misen 8-inch chef's knife for over 2 years, and in this review, I'm going to tell you the good, the bad, and everything in between. I'll also compare it to similar knives so you get an idea of how it stacks up against the competition. Full disclosure, Misen sent me this knife back in 2020, but this is not a sponsored video and Misen is not paying me to make it. Without further ado, let's get into the pros and cons. Here's what I like about the Misen chef's knife. The first thing I noticed when I started using it was its sharpness. They grind the edges to a razor-sharp 15-degree angle per side. For comparison, many Western-style knives are sharpened to a 20-degree angle per side. This knife can slice through any ingredient with ease, from thick root vegetables and meat to delicate herbs and fruits. Misen can get the job done. Whenever I get a new knife, I put it through the tomato test. Dull knives require you to saw through a tomato, which often squishes it, while sharp knives slice through it cleanly. As you can see, the Misen knife passes the tomato test. Sharpness doesn't mean much if the edge dulls quickly, and I'm happy to report that the Misen knife has excellent edge retention. The blade is made of AUS 10 steel, which is a premium material with a Rockwell hardness of 58. That means it's hard enough to retain a sharp edge for long periods, but not brittle like the steel found in many Japanese knives. I haven't sharpened the Misen knife in almost 2 months, and it still slices through the tomato almost as good as it did on day one. Most cheap knives are blade heavy and unbalanced. Unbalanced knives are difficult to work with and can put a strain on your wrist. The Misen knife doesn't have that issue because it's designed with a full tang. The full tang makes this knife well balanced. You can hold it with 2 fingers and it won't tip forward or back. The tang also adds heft and gives the knife a sturdy feel. This knife weighs just under 8 ounces, which is right on par with other premium knives this size. With the Misen knife, you have more control, and the added weight of the tang provides momentum as you slice through firm ingredients. The handle is made of a synthetic material that's heat, moisture, and fade resistant. And unlike wood handles, it's non-porous, so you don't have to worry about bacteria lingering in the cracks. Also, the handle has a slightly rubbery texture that provides excellent grip and added safety, especially when your hands are wet. The Misen chef's knife has a unique sloped bolster, which makes it easy to perform the pinch grip. The pinch grip is when you pinch each side of the blade right in front of the bolster with your index finger and thumb. Then you wrap your fingers lightly around the handle. With this grip, the knife becomes an extension of your hand, providing you with ultimate control. Its sloped bolster makes the Misen chef's knife easy to sharpen. If the bolster extended to the edge of the blade, as you see on many popular German-style knives, you wouldn't be able to sharpen the entire edge through the heel. With the Misen knife, the edge is razor sharp from tip to heel, and sharpening the entire surface is simple. Unlike most chef's knives that feature either black or wood grain handles, Misen offers 4 handle colors: blue, black, gray, and red. The Misen chef's knife comes with a free lifetime sharpening. All you have to do is fill out a quick form on Misen.com and ship your knife. You only have to pay for shipping. Most knives come with a 30-day return policy. With Misen, you get a full 60 days to test out the knife. If you're not 100% satisfied with the performance, you can return it for a full refund. It also comes with a lifetime guarantee, so if anything happens to it, if it chips or breaks, they'll replace it for free, no questions asked. Last but certainly not least is the price. The Misen chef's knife is only $65. That's an insanely low price for a quality 8-inch chef's knife. Considering the premium materials, thoughtful design, and risk-free guarantees, I'd expect to pay at least $100. Misen can offer such a low price because they avoid retail markups and sell their knives primarily on Misen.com. Clearly, there's a lot to love about the Misen chef's knife, but there are also some downsides to consider. Here are the things that I don't like. The squared edges on the handle provide more control than rounded handles, but in my opinion, they make the knife a bit uncomfortable. If you have large hands, your pinky might dig into the edge. You might not notice it if you're using your knife for a minute, but you'll definitely notice it if you're using your knife for long periods. This knife has one of the longest handles I've seen on an 8-inch blade, which might be an issue if you have smaller hands. The blade and handle combined are 13.5 inches total. You'll also notice that the heel of the blade is angled away from the handle. This requires you to choke up on the blade when performing a pinch grip, and some people complain that the spine of the blade has sharp edges that dig into your finger. I tend to hold more of the handle with this knife, so this hasn't been an issue for me, but it's talked about enough that I had to mention it. This may be nitpicking, but the fit and finish is not perfect. What I mean by that is that there are minor construction flaws. For example, the rivets on the handle are not perfect circles. You won't notice it unless you look really closely and compare it to another premium knife, but the issue is there. Similarly, there are tiny gaps where the metal and the synthetic handle meet. Again, this is a minor flaw, but higher quality knives have a more seamless transition. If you run your fingernail across the gap, it's much more noticeable. You can feel and hear the gap. When there's no gap, you won't feel or hear anything. Misen manufactures its knives in China, but instead of just saying that, they say the country of production is PRC, which is short for People's Republic of China. They also don't provide much transparency around exactly how their knives are made. It would be helpful to see their knife making process and the standards of production. Other brands like Misen and Wusthof provide much more insight into the manufacturing process. Most knife makers clearly disclose on their website whether their blades are forged or stamped. Stamped blades are punched out of a sheet of metal, and forged blades are formed from a single block of steel that's heated and hammered into shape. In general, forged blades are better quality than stamped blades. Misen doesn't say whether their blades are stamped or forged on their website, so I reached out and they confirmed that they are in fact stamped, and then welded onto the bolster and tang. This is not a huge deal, and compared to many forged blades, Misen performs just as good, but I wish they were more transparent about these details. The Misen chef's knife may not be perfect, but it's a quality, low-maintenance knife that won't break the bank. There are very few chef's knives that you can buy for well under $100 that perform as good as Misen, and with their generous 30-day return policy, you can try it out risk-free. If you're a beginner, on a budget, or just don't care about all the details that come with expensive high-end knives, Misen is a great option. If the long handle and squared handle edges are deal breakers, I highly recommend the Misen chef's knife. Misen's handles are rounder and noticeably shorter. Also, the blade is forged in France and made with premium German steel. It costs slightly more than Misen, but it's still very affordable. I'll link to the Misen and Misen knives in the description so you can easily compare them side by side. If you click those links and buy, I'll earn a commission, but at no extra cost to you. Before you buy either of these knives, you need to check out my review of Mac. Mac knives are a little bit more expensive, but they perform incredibly well. In fact, the New York Times named the Mac MTH-80 chef's knife the best overall chef's knife. Check out this video to get my take on whether it lives up to the hype. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.